Hey everybody, welcome back to Flight Sim. This is our last leg on our Crossing the Atlantic tour. We're flying today from Halifax to Teterboro, New Jersey, which is kind of the corporate business hub for New York. A lot of corporate jets and stuff fly in there, and that is where we are headed. So let's get on board and get underway. Alright, so we'll do our usual checks. Parking brake chocks, GPU is connected, throttle is idle, engine master is normal. So batteries come on, and ground power is connected, generator switches are on, external power is on. The gears are up and running. Bit of a cloudy day here today. Not expecting any significant weather. And we'll get you. We'll go a notch on you. And a notch on you. The E-cam's up. And then we'll go up and do the overhead panel. There we go. Landing gear lever is checked down, flaps are checked up, spoilers are retracted, fuel quantity is good, plenty of fuel. We'll get this seatbelt and smoking signs on, and we can get the people coming on board. Turn on the crew oxygen, arm the emergency exit, and we will get the lights on. Or the air moving in the cockpit. The nav light on as well. And we'll get the catering and baggage and fuel truck to come and do their thing. So everyone's loading up. Flight time today is about 2 hours. So it should be a decent flight. The current altimeter here in Halifax is...
On behalf of the cabin crew, I'd like to welcome you aboard our flight. As you find your seat, be sure to place your larger carry-on items in the overhead bins and smaller items underneath the seat in front of you. If you have trouble finding a location for any of your carry-on items, please use the flight attendant call button over your seat. Somebody will assist you.
3018.
If the overhead bin is full, please make sure you close it as a courtesy to other passengers. Please double check that all your items are put away so that the aisle is clear and other passengers can make their way to their seats. If you're in an emergency exit row, please leave the exit seating responsibilities in the card in the seat back in front of you. If you're not able to comply with these actions, please let a flight attendant know so that way you can be reseated. Now's the time to get out any last-minute text messages if you need to, but we ask that once you depart from the gate, you put away any laptops or tablets. Thank you, and welcome aboard. We're ready to go when you are.
Thank you. So this is flight number 6. This is the final flight for the crew in the back. And we'll put Boston in as our alternate. Not expecting to have to go there. Cost index of 25, and our flight level is 320 for today. Flaps 1, takeoff. And there's our adjusted V speeds. Now, for our flight plan, winds are out of the northeast. So we're going to be departing on runway 05, and we're going to use the CH4 departure. And as it stands right now, we are going to be landing on runway 24, doing the RNAV. No transition. So that should be in. So that's baggage on board. So if we go over to plan mode and we look at our flight plan, we're gonna basically, oh, fuel's here. Yeah, we're good. So we're gonna fly straight out, down past Boston, over New York State, and then we're gonna come down and then pick up the approach, and then in we go on the airnav. So that looks fine. We'll go back to 10 miles out for you, 40 miles out for you. And that should be good. 4 minutes to go on the alignment, so we're going to get the APU up and running. As I said, baggage is on board, and they have closed doors. Catering's done as well. So we should be ready to go as soon as our adheres are aligned. So I'm going to throw on that light just so they know that we're firing up the APU. So as mentioned, this is the last of our legs on this Crossing the Atlantic tour that took us up through Iceland and Greenland. So hopefully it is a good flight. Let's go and listen to the APU fire up. So I have decreased the vehicle traffic on the airports down to 5%, and I've increased the aircraft at the airports up to 100%. So as you can see, we have more aircraft here. There's a Korean Air over there, and a whole bunch here, Australian Jetsco and Frontier, and a whole bunch of airplanes, and this little guy taxiing along. So we are busy. Making the airport seem a little bit more livelier. There's an aircraft coming in, you can see there. We're going to be taking off on runway 05. That's where this guy's going. These are all terminals. He should be down the other end at the FBO. Hopefully they can fix that so that these aircraft stay in their areas. It's a little annoying to see Cessnas at airliner gates at airports, but not much you can do at the moment. It sounds like the APU's up and running. 1 minute to go on the adheres. And again, everybody is on board and good to go. Check the APU. We're at 100%. And we're set. So we'll carry on with we've done our weather, de-icing not required, transponder we will set to 2000, which is the IFR default frequency. Beacon lights are on, emergency lights are armed. FMC we will be climbing to 32,000. Departure briefing is complete, and we can remove the jetway.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard Flight 06 with service to New Jersey. Our flight time will be roughly 2 hours and 21 minutes. Now that the cabin door is closed, please make sure that all devices are in airplane mode and your large devices are now shut down and stowed. Please fasten your seatbelt and make sure that all tray tables and seat backs are in the full upright and locked position for departure. Cabin crew, secure doors for departure.
Alright, so fuel pumps run, thrust levers are at idle, ignition switches to ignition. The tow is moving in, and when we get the push, we will start going back. We're going to go tail right. We're going to be taxiing down this way and then heading down to the bottom of 05. I think winds are 04 right now. Check. Yeah, 04 at 7 knots. So just waiting for the bump as they give us a positive push. There we go. And starting engine 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the front of the aircraft for a safety demonstration. When the seatbelt light is on, please make sure that your seatbelt is fastened low and tight across your lap. To fasten, insert the metal fittings into one another. Tighten by pulling on the loose end of the strap. To release your seatbelt, lift the upper portion of the buckle. In the event that the seatbelt light is not on, we suggest that you keep your seatbelt fastened in case of unexpected turbulence. There are several emergency exits on this aircraft. Please take a few moments now to locate your nearest exit. In some cases, your nearest exit may be behind you. If we need to evacuate the aircraft, floor-level lighting will guide you towards the exit. In the event of a decompression, an oxygen mask will drop in front of you. To start the flow of oxygen, pull the mask towards you. Place it firmly over your nose and mouth, secure the elastic band behind your head, tighten the straps if necessary, and breathe normally. Although the bag does not inflate, oxygen is flowing to the mask. If you are traveling with a child or someone who requires assistance, secure your mask on first and then assist others. Keep your mask on until a member of the crew advises you it is safe to remove it. In the unlikely event of a water landing, a life vest is located in a pouch under your seat or between the armrests. When instructed to do so, open the plastic pouch and remove the vest. Slip it over your head. Wrap the straps around your waist and buckle at the front. Pull the straps tight. To inflate the vest, pull firmly on the red cord only when exiting the aircraft. If it doesn't inflate automatically, you may blow into the mouthpiece for manual inflation. This vest is equipped with a whistle and a light. If you need to, your seat cushion can be used as a secondary heating device. Please make sure to exit the aircraft as soon as possible and leave your belongings. Please securely stow your personal items. Make sure your seatbelts are fastened and seat backs and tray tables are in their full upright position. We remind you that this is a non-smoking flight. Tampering with, disabling, or destroying the smoke detectors located in the lavatories is prohibited by law. All of this information can be found in the safety card located in the seat back in front of you. Please read it and let a cabin member know if you have any questions. Thank you for flying with us, Jen, and we hope you enjoy your flight.
So we got a good start on engine number 2. We have fuel flow. Generators are all on. So the APU bleed can come off. APU will be turned off. And mode selector goes to normal. So we'll do our pre-taxi. We'll get everything ready. I think altimeters are set, standby instruments are set, radio avionics are set, autopilot, we've set up the FMC. Flight director goes on, auto brake will go to max, flaps 1 for takeoff, 1 up for takeoff trim, flight controls are good. Left, right, up, down, and rudder. Oop. Taxi light will go on, and we will commence our taxi. So 05 is the runway we're using today. It's 10,500 feet. Nice long runway. There's that guy who just landed over there. Should be out of the way by the time we get out to where we're headed. And again, we gotta watch our taxi speeds because the aircrafts are accelerating in idle, which is a little annoying. Almost as annoying as having lights in the middle of the taxiway. But that's alright. I'll just ignore them. We ignore a lot of little things in the sim. Oh, this guy's going up for a flight. Alright, so speed brake, armed, TO conflict is done. Cabin crew, take your seats.
Cabin crew seats for takeoff, please.
Another aircraft. It's nice to see all the airplanes at the airport. I mean, that's a big improvement. Like I said, it's two-hour, 20-minute flight. We're a little bit ahead of schedule getting down here to the runway, which is good. We didn't have a lot of people to put onto the airplane, to be honest, so that process was fairly quick. There's a bit of a road over there. You see cars going by. Gonna go right down to the end. So there's a saying, things that are useless to pilots is altitude above you, fuel you didn't put in the aircraft, and runway behind you. Something like that. So if you don't need it, that's fine, but if you do need it and you didn't take it, that's not good. So we're going to head down right to the end and go up from there. And you see the windsock, just a very slight breeze coming out of, it's almost head on down the runway. All looking good. And here we're going to make our turn. Do our pre-departure. This could be fun if we could do multi-cockpit, multiplayer in one cockpit. It would make for interesting flights. Alright, parking brake is set. So flight instruments have been checked. Engine instruments checked. All good. Takeoff data. V1, VR, and V2 is set. Nav equipment is set. Lights go on. Taxi to takeoff. Strobes are on. Pitot heat not required. De-ice not required. Transponder will go to TARA. PWS will come on, and weather radar will come on. So not a lot of cloud out there. All right, start the clock. And let's head to New Jersey. I don't see anybody coming in. No aircraft on TCAS. All right. Brakes are on. Engine spooling. 40%. And here we go. Brakes off. Thrust power is set. SRS runway enabled. 100 knots, easing back. V1, rotate. Up to 17 degrees. Positive rate. Gear up. Down for acceleration and beginning our turn to the left. All right. Flaps coming up. Aircraft is accelerating. And we'll begin our climb. Autopilot is on. A little abrupt there. Spoilers are disarmed. There's the airport. As we say goodbye to Halifax. There's the Halifax, the city of Halifax is over here. This is the big natural harbor, big in the inner basin. If I remember right, Halifax is on one side and Dartmouth is on the other.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have now passed 2,000 feet. You may turn on larger portable electronic devices. This is also a reminder to please keep your seatbelt fastened throughout the duration of the flight and do not form a line near the left point.
It's also the home for the Canadian Navy on the Atlantic coast. So we're through 10,000 feet. We're going to be climbing straight up, so we'll go into standard pressure. And we are continuing our climb to altitude. Midday flight, so it's only about 11:30 in the morning. It's the winter sky here in November, and the overcast clouds that are kind of making things a little bit dull, but that's fine. Anyway, sit back, enjoy. We'll catch up with you on our descent into Teterboro. So we're at 18,000 feet. We're going to switch over to our pressure for the area. 2.5, not 2.8. I'll set it down here on our standby as well. There we go. So we're going to begin reducing our speed down to 280. There's the Allegheny Mountains in New York. That's the Hudson River. Follow this all the way down this way and it takes you to New York City. See, just make out Long Island right there. And the East River comes down here and then goes around on the east side of Manhattan. The Hudson River flows down the west side of Manhattan Island. It's been a good fight. I was just checking the approach. So our intercept altitude is 3,000 feet. And then we will, after we get to the entry point on the approach, we'll drop her down slowly to 2,000 feet, which is what we have to be at Shrew. Then at angle, we're at 1,700. And then basically we're just flying the visual in at that point. But everything is good so far. No complaints at all. The passengers are satisfied in the back. A few more miles, we're going to make the turn southward, more or less. And we'll cover the 45-50 miles down to Stroud. We're gonna come back to 1,500 now. are going to have to slow down to 250 as we approach 10,000. And again, the airport we're landing at, although it is like the business jet reliever for New York, it is actually across the Hudson River in New Jersey. Short taxi ride away, I guess. As we hit 11,000, we'll bring the speed back. Beautiful countryside down this way. Nice rolling hills. Some nice mountains here. Great driving, motorcycle riding area. Alright, back to 250 we go. And we're about to make the turn. We're going to hold 250 all the way down to the start of the approach. Nice wing dip. Nicely done. I'm going to decrease our descent rate. We'll slow it down a bit. We're a little bit low. But we're below 10,000. So speed is 250. Landing lights. Come on. Won't need landing system since we're not doing an ILS. Feels good. Flaps are up and gear is up. We're getting a little bit of wind over the mountains here. We're going to put on the terrain radar just for our approach. We'll leave the weather on the other side, although as you can see out the window, there's really nothing going on. So 42 miles to the entry point into our approach. I had to turn down the clouds. I think one of the latest updates, it's eating up a little bit more processing than it was before, so I had to turn the clouds down to medium because it was just chewing up my graphics ability, and it was really stuttering a lot. So it's a shame. It's great having the nice clouds, but when there's a lot of them in the air, wow, does this thing get chewed up. So it looks like the mountain range heads off this way, and we're coming down on the other side of it where it's a little bit flatter. It's a very nice afternoon here in New York State. Still a little windy. Wind is out of the west. The airport we're near here is saying that there's no wind on the ground, so that's what I've plugged into the FMC.
Final descent to New Jersey. Flight attendants will be passing through the cabin to collect any trash one final time. Please ensure tray tables are stowed and seats are in the full upright position. Please also store any carry-on items either in the seat back pocket or under the seat in front of you.
I'm gonna go to approach mode a little bit early just because we're gonna be busy here. So 10 miles out, I'll quickly run through the approach checklist. A couple airports around us. So 2,800 is the actual altitude we're going to want. That's Stroud, so we'll put that in. Strad. Just monitoring our descent. Alright, so that's more or less 10 miles out. So seatbelt signs are on. Radios are set. Speed coming back to 210. Come on, there you go. Landing lights are confirmed on. Taxi light is on. Ground spoilers are armed. Auto brake is set. Speed's coming back. I'm gonna have to get that altitude down. We got 1,300 feet to lose. Flatten out in a minute and the speed will drop. It's 5 miles out. So it's 28, and after Scubby, we're at 26. Then Nippy, we're down to 22, and after Wheezy, it's 2,000. After Shrew, we dropped to 1,700. There we go. Speed's going to start coming back. Sure, this will get people's attention down there, flying over at this height, but this is the flight pattern. There we go. 2,800, bang on. Speed's coming down. Keep going. There's 220, flaps 1. Speed back to 180. And altitude down to 2,600. Flaps 2. Okay, Nippy, we're going to want 2,200. Across the hill here. Alright, we're good. Going Down to 22. Wheezy is 2,000. Bring the speed back to 160. Thousand. Flaps 3. Hold at 2,000. So 223 is what we're going to turn to at Shrew, and then we'll take over at that point. The airport's out that way somewhere. Start to see some of the buildings from New York City. So ideally the aircraft would be flying this in the FMC. We wouldn't have to go through all these steps with the altitude. It would do it itself under managed mode, but it's not. And for some reason it always screws around and misses this input here for picking up on the waypoints. So 223 will be on next one, and we'll slow down to our approach speed, which is 131 today. Let's try this again.
Cabin crew seats for landing.
There we go. The Hudson River ahead of us. So given our speed, I say 1.5 miles out, we'll make the turn. We're going to be exiting to our right when we come off. So there we go. So 233. sorry, 223. And then when we hit angle, it is 233, and that takes us in on our final approach. There's an angle there. It's about 4 miles out. And there's the airport. I think that's the airport. Yeah, that's the airport. So we're going to go down to 1700 now. Bring the speed back to 131. Gear coming down. Flaps full. Alright, let's see how this landing goes. Auto throttles are staying on. We have the airport in sight. Autopilot is off. A little bit of a right crosswind. Landing.
400. 300. 200. 100. 60, 50, 40, 30, 20. Retard right.
Reversers on. Control the aircraft. Whoa, 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 whoa. Ooh, that almost got away from me. I don't know what's going on with my landings today, but that's the second one that was really, really not good.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to New Jersey. The local time is 12:03 p.m. and it's currently about 52 degrees Fahrenheit. You can now use your mobile devices. Please remain seated until the aircraft has come to a complete stop and the seatbelt sign is turned off. Remember to use caution when opening the overhead bins as items may have shifted during the flight. If this is your final destination, we thank you for flying with us and we hope to see you again soon.
Let's head back to the FBOs on the other side. Since that's where we're headed. It was all looking good until we touched down, and then she just kind of went squirrely. Practice my landings a little bit more, I guess. We'll get off the runway here, clear the active runway. Alright, parking brake is on. Flaps all the way up. Engine mode selector should be normal. Landing lights and strobe lights are off. Anti-ice, not worried about APU. We'll get up and running. Brake temperatures are fine. It's transponder, PWS, weather radar is off. And we will taxi up to the bigger aircraft ramp. Up over here. Not sure why she didn't want to roll straight there. All right, we're going to take the next left. And then we're going to park it up. We're going to park it over in front of this one here. Just like this. Alright. So, parking brake is set. Thrust levers are back to idle. There is no ground contact, so APU bleed will come on. Engine masters will come off. Kill all the lights. And ECAM check. Headlights and ears will stay on. Everything else is good. Well, that ends our flight to across the Atlantic. It was a very interesting journey for various reasons. But we made it. Hope you enjoyed. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.